The Catholic Morning Show.
Another reason to visit iowacatholicradio.com is our latest giveaway, Cheesy Dad Joke Father's Day giveaway. You can nominate your dad with one of his or maybe your own cheesy dad joke, and they could win one of 5 cheesecakes from Jesus and Jesus Cheesecake Company. Visit iowacatholicradio.com to enter today. Well, as I mentioned going into the break, it's Mental Health Awareness Month here in the month of May. And I think of the month of May also being the month of Our Lady, Mary, and somebody who has a special heart for obviously all of us, but provides us some gentle care to our mental health as we look at us, as we are mind, body, and soul. We need to analyze all parts of our life, and all parts of our life need nurturing and care. And so we've invited in from Catholic Charities, Graham and Abby Fouch, to give us some ideas on some resources. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Barbara, go ahead and pull that microphone right on in so we can make sure that everybody can hear you loud and clear. So let's start with Abby, since she's not, I think this is your first time on the radio.
This is my first time.
Well, you're coming through loud and clear. So
Perfect.
Talk about your maybe your calling to provide services in the area of mental health.
Yeah. So I just have such a passion for helping others. It's so important. Mental health is just one of those things, that's just as important as your physical health. And I was really excited to be working with Catholic Charities because I'm Catholic myself, and I think it's so important to integrate your faith with your mental health. I think it all, spiritual, emotional, and physical, is all so important.
Absolutely. And Barbara, how long have you been working in the field of mental health?
Well, I'm only 21, but probably
so 21
just
years.
a few times.
Your whole life.
Actually, since 1986, I started, and I actually started on my own mental health journey and really focusing on balancing all of the aspects of my own life, and found that I had a passion for doing that, and that there were a lot of people that were struggling just like me, or similarly. And so that's actually how I got in the field, was that I saw other people struggling and desiring to help people to find their way with God.
And one of the things that I think is so important to talk about here is just self-care in general. Sure. Particularly we'll say men, but I think broadly speaking, we don't go to the doctor sometimes, for our physical health until sometimes it's too late, right? Or we don't feel that there is a need or a necessity to assess these things, because as people of faith, as we know, mental health is not discriminate in that regard. Is that I'm just going to pray my way through it. So Barbara, from your experience in so many years in this field, talk about that particular hurdle of people who maybe are hesitant to tend to this part of their life.
Well, I know sometimes for me, I'm kind of a slow processor. And so sometimes I don't realize that I'm struggling until I'm stuck in the mud and I can't get out. And I think that for all of us, it's wonderful that May is Mental Health Month and the month of Mary, because they go together. Our faith and asking Mary to help us as a woman of God to walk through our journey is really important, but also being able to be aware of times when we're just struggling. And it's not about intellect, it's about learning to balance and deal with what life gives us, to leaning on God, and then really looking at what can I do to get unstuck? Can I put those boots on and those waders and walk out of the mud? And sometimes one of the reasons why I'm really excited about the Catholic Charities counseling program is our desire to walk with people. Sometimes it really does help to have another perspective. Sometimes it really helps to have someone taking us by the hand and saying, you know what, I've been there or I haven't been there, but I understand. And the hope that God gives us and that Mary gives us is that God will walk with us. We, in the counseling counseling program will walk with you and pray with you and help you to have good days as we do it together. And that's kind of the Catholic Charities focus right now, is that we can have good days as long as we do this together and we pray together and we worship together. And sometimes we need some other people to help us figure it out together.
Well, this is where the imagery of Christ sending us out 2 by 2, right? He never sends us out alone. So when you talk about getting unstuck and getting out of the mud, it requires us to take somebody's hand, right? Mm-hmm. And walk with us. Abby, let's talk about the what Catholic Charities is providing, because I think that's where a lot of people, if they reach that point where it's like, okay, I need help, where do I turn? And Catholic Charities is one of those places. So talk about what services are provided there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we offer therapy service to everyone. We are both licensed professionals, and we offer services to any ages. I am more so 14 and up. Barb is more anything. But we just really offer services to anyone. We don't turn anyone away.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to be Catholic. You may have a friend that you see struggling that you think needs some help. Mm-hmm. And just because they're not Catholic doesn't mean that we don't want to provide help for them. We also, one of the good things is that it's not based on money. We have a sliding fee scale if you need that. We also take most major insurance companies and Medicare and Medicaid. And so we're going to try and find a way to help you. And if it's not us and it's not a good fit, then we'll give you a referral somewhere else, because our desire is for you to get help. But we would love to help you if that's what is going to work.
We're speaking with Barbara Graham and Abby Fouch from Catholic Charities. We're talking about mental health, and I think you really touched on an important part there, because as I was saying, if you reach that point to recognizing you need help, you don't know where to turn, sometimes the cost it becomes a barrier, right, or a concern. But what you're saying here is there's opportunities from people from all different demographics to receive the services at Catholic Charities. Abby, your specialty is with young people. What are some of the things that you're currently seeing with regularity in your service provided?
Yeah, so we see a lot of anxiety, I feel like, is one of the biggest ones. And I feel like there's such a... I think the stigma's kind of going away, but I feel like some people are just hesitant to get help. And I just want to reiterate to everyone that it's okay to ask for help, and it actually makes you stronger. Mm-hmm. But a lot of anxiety, depression, I feel like anxiety is one of the biggest ones. Mm-hmm. Stress, just daily life is stressful. Yeah. And so just having a space to talk about, what's going on in your life and feeling safe to talk about it, I feel like is so important. And that's a lot of what we see, a lot of what I see. And
you have a particular program that you're going to be facilitating coming up. Talk a little bit about that program.
Yeah. So in the fall, we're going to have a grounding group, and grounding is basically just as it sounds, grounding yourself with, like, if you're feeling very overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed, if it's just becoming too much, grounding skills are things like, prayer is one of them. Grounding yourself just in nature, even exercise, all of the skills that you need for success in the future when you're struggling with your mental health.
And being able to calm yourself, being able to talk to yourself, kind of being your own internal coach.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Some of those skills, being able to do that when things get really anxious. There is so much pressure out there in the world just to be successful for kids. When my kids went through Dowling, I was listening this morning and talking about Dowling. And when you're in a place like Dowling and you're in high school, there's so much pressure. What do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to go? How are you going to be successful? And all of that internal pressure just builds up to the point where some kids just feel like they want to burst and they don't know what to do. And so being able to have some skills to kind of get your feet on the ground, be able to talk to yourself in a positive way, kind of your own internal coach, and being able to get through stuff. Abby's really good at that and really a great listener. We're so grateful to have her.
Well, one of the coping mechanisms that I think many of us have defaulted to, and this is across all ages, is the device that most of us have in our hands almost at all times, right? You tend to just scroll and you get these little, maybe it's a 30-second inspirational message, right? But what you guys are providing is something much more intensive and much more, what I would say is important, is probably relational.
Yes.
And sustainable.
Yeah.
So skills like this you can take with you throughout your whole life. So when you have someone that you just don't get along with, what do? And you got to work with them every day. Or someone that just keeps picking at you all the time and you feel like they're telling you you're not good enough, or what do you do with all that? And how do you manage that and try to balance all the rest of the plates that you're trying to spin in your life? And so being able to kind of step back for a little bit and to take a look at that and have some grounding techniques, have some calming techniques, being able to talk to yourself and say, it's going to be okay. I can do this. I can do anything short term. And so how am I going to be able to get through this? And having some strategies to do that, that's what we try to help people with, and also to lean on God. And so having that integration and that balance is really important too, and saying, God, help me. I can't do this, and being able to rely on that and rely on some other techniques that you're learning.
Absolutely. Abby, tell us a little bit more. We got just about a minute or so left about this grounding group. How is it set up? How do people learn more about it? And again, begin to incorporating some of these more healthy, sort of faith-based coping skills that are so badly needed by so many people.
Yeah, so it's coming up in the fall. It'll be at the Catholic Pastoral Center downtown. It'll give participants just a space to slow down and reconnect with the present moment. The group will span 8 weeks. It starts on September 15th. Sessions will be an hour and a half long, and they will take place on Tuesday evenings. So it is after school, after work, whatever. Evening time is helpful for a lot of people. You can come for one session or come for all 8. We are limiting space, so if you're interested, be on the lookout for how you can register. And if you are interested, you can email us at charities@catholiccharities.dm.org, or you can give us a call at 515-237-5045.
Wonderful.
Listen to the Catholic Morning Show weekdays at 7 a.m. Central on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network, iowacatholicradio.com, or the Iowa Catholic Radio app.